Hey everyone, welcome to That's Good Denver. I'm your host Chris Romeo, and today I'll be breaking down the Colorado Avalanche 2024-2025 season. As the Avalanche had a pretty good season. They got off to a really bad start. The Avalanche started the season 0-4. Then they were kind of win one, lose one, and went on like a short winning streak, like a 3-game winning streak. The Avalanche were around 500 till about Thanksgiving, late November. Um, Goaltending was a real issue. Then the Avalanche picked it up going into Christmas. Got a few more games over 500. Got into a wild card spot. And the Avalanche were decimated with injuries all year. Starting in like late October, the Avalanche had some injuries and the guys weren't staying healthy. And even at the game I went to in Denver to celebrate me graduating college, the Avalanche had like hardly any starters playing. We didn't have Mikko Rantanen, who's not even on the Avalanche. We didn't have Cale Makar, Nathan MacKinnon, and Tori Lehkonen, none of those guys playing at the game I went to against Montreal. So Avalanche got hit with the injury bug. Also, our goaltending was a real issue the first half of the season with Alexander Georgiev. But good news around the trade deadline, Avalanche traded Alexander Georgiev to get Mackenzie Blackwood and Scott Wedgwood, and those guys have done a great job, I think. The Avalanche have kind of rotated between those guys all season. Wedgwood plays one game, Mackenzie Blackwood plays the other game, and they kind of rotated back and forth. But then, uh, after the trade deadline, the Avalanche were just playing really good hockey. They're starting to outshoot teams again and stuff, even if they weren't winning. The Avalanche, you know, I think around in March, the Avalanche went on an 8-game winning streak at one point. It was looking really good. Then the Avalanche ran into a couple games where they lost in a shootout to the Wild, but then the Avalanche were I think 1-4 in shootouts, going into the last 15 games of the season. The Avalanche actually won 3 shootouts. They won a comeback shootout against the Chicago Blackhawks. The Avalanche were down 2-1, scored a goal 15 seconds. The Avalanche won 3-2, and that was a miraculous comeback. Avalanche also won a shootout 5-4 over the Montreal Canadiens, a game they almost blew. And the Avalanche also won a shootout against the Vegas Golden Knights about a week ago, when Brock Nelson hit the game winner. Or was it? I know Brock Nelson hit one game winner in a shootout. I think it was against Montreal Canadiens. Okay. And then I'm trying I'm trying to. Oh no! In the game against the Golden Knights where the Avalanche won in a shootout 3-2, it was Charlie Coyle who got the game winner in a shootout. So the Avalanche finished their season with 100 points. I think it was 102 points the Avalanche finished their season with. The Avalanche finished 5th in the West. It didn't really even matter. I'm pretty sure the Kings caught up to us in the standings, but either way, the Avalanche were going to play the Dallas Stars in round one. That's who the Avalanche are playing tomorrow. And the way the Avalanche have turned their season around after the trade deadline, the way for how long of a way the Avalanche goaltending has came, I have a feeling that the Avalanche are going to make a deep run. I would not be surprised if the Avalanche end up in the Stanley Cup Finals this year, like they did 3 years ago. I wouldn't even be surprised if the Avalanche win the Stanley Cup Finals. First of all, the Avalanche gotta get past the Stars in this series, which I do think the Avalanche will get past the Stars. The Stars got a little worse this year. I would say they lost a few guys. The Avalanche definitely got better. I think this is the best season the Avalanche have had since winning the Stanley Cup 3 years ago. The Avalanche would play the Stars. Then the Avalanche would probably have a tough series against the Winnipeg Jets, who are the 1 seed. But the Avalanche destroyed the Jets last year. The Avalanche lost his first game of the series, and the Avalanche won 2 games in Winnipeg, 2 for 2 at home, and the Avalanche destroyed the Winnipeg Jets last year in 5 games. And then next thing you know, if the Avalanche can take care of business against the Stars and Jets like they did last year, they could end up in the conference finals just like that. And then at that point, they'd probably play the Oilers, Connor McDavid, and I mean, the Avalanche definitely have the pieces. I have a much better feeling about the Avalanche winning the Stanley Cup this year than I do about the Nuggets winning the championship. I'm going to do a Nuggets breakdown video right after this one. But yeah, the Avalanche had a great season. Also, I went to Columbus. It was like a week before my birthday. I went to Columbus, Ohio, to watch the Avalanche play the Blue Jackets, and the Avalanche won 7-3. And I found out later that the Avalanche clinched the playoffs by winning that game. So I got to watch the Avalanche. I got to go to Columbus to watch the Avalanche win and clinch the playoffs in person. It was something sweet. So yeah, this year already, I've got to see the Broncos win and clinch the playoffs in person. When I went to Denver to celebrate graduate college, I went to Denver to watch the Broncos win and clinch the playoffs in person by beating the Chiefs 38-0. And I also got to watch the Avalanche win and clinch the playoffs in person by beating the Blue Jackets 7-3. It was a good game too. A lot of goals scored. The Blue Jackets goaltending isn't that great. Cale Makar had a goal. Casey Middlestat had a goal. Our goaltending was all right. It was definitely a lot better in the third period, but it was a lot of fun. I went to Columbus to watch the Avalanche win and clinch the playoffs in person. I also went to Columbus last minute, the capital of Ohio. So, me watching the Avalanche win and clinch the playoffs in Columbus was a last minute trip that will go down in history for sure. But yeah, that's about it. Everybody, the Avalanche started off the season slow, but the Avalanche kicked it into gear after the trade deadline, and ever since the Avalanche made those trades, I'm pretty sure we have like a top 5 record in the league. So just gotta keep it going, and yeah, I mean, no matter how far the Nuggets and Avalanche go in the playoffs, already in 2025, I got to watch the Broncos clinch the playoffs in person, and I got to watch the Avalanche clinch the playoffs in person. So not many people get to say they've watched two of their favorite sports teams clinch the playoffs in person. As I got to witness the Broncos clinching the playoffs in person, I got to witness the Avalanche clinching the playoffs in person. But that's it, everybody. Like, subscribe, comment. Hopefully the Avalanche make a deep run in the playoffs this year. I really do have a good feeling about the Avalanche making a Stanley Cup run this year. As biased you want to say, I mean, their goaltending and, the way they can dominate teams and, the Avalanche can take advantage of those power plays and get those goals to fall. It could be a really fun summer for the Colorado Avalanche. But that's it, everybody. Like, subscribe, comment. And like I said, I got to go to Denver to watch the Broncos clinch the playoffs in person. When I went to Denver to celebrate graduating college, I got to witness the Broncos clinching the playoffs in person by beating the Chiefs 38-0, and I got to witness the Avalanche clinching the playoffs in person by beating the Blue Jackets 7-3. But like, subscribe, comment. I'm Chris Romeo, and that's good Denver. Go Avalanche. Go Avs.